once again to my program. Always a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure to have you out there listening and watching. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the tip of the week. This is a legal tip of the week. Pretty interesting. This is a news case that just came down, and I think you should be aware of it. I was surprised in a way myself. And basically what this case has said is that the sidewalk in front of your house is the responsibility of the city, in the sense that if there's any cracks in the sidewalk, if there's any pieces of concrete missing, that the homeowner is not responsible. The homeowner does not have to repair it. It's the responsibility of the city. In this case, basically is one that came out of Boston, where someone was walking along a sidewalk, tripped, and received some serious injuries. The person that was injured sued the owner of the building in front of abutting the sidewalk, actually, and what the court said, that the owner of the building had no liability, that the owner of the building did not own the sidewalk, was not responsible for the repair of the sidewalk. And that also includes the street too. However, homeowners have to keep the sidewalk clear, in the sense that especially you might have a downtown Fall River merchant. They put some chairs out in front on the sidewalk. Maybe they put some merchandise out there on the sidewalk, and then that causes someone to be injured. Then that's different, because they've placed items on the sidewalk, and that actually what they say is that interferes with the travel of pedestrians walking along the sidewalk. So I thought it was a pretty interesting case. Keep it in mind, homeowners and people who are using the sidewalks. Now, my show is going to be done in respect of Peter Gallo. Peter Gallo was a World War II veteran, very well known in the area. He was a good singer. I did a show with Peter. Peter has since passed. Long ago, when I was hosting the Gus Sunderson show. Gus was out because of illness. I hosted his show. I had Peter come on, and I'm going to read a poem, and this poem is pretty much dedicated to Peter and all the veterans serving and the ones who have served. This is a World War II poem, and this was written in 1941 by a Russian poet, and it goes this way. Wait for me, and I'll come back. Wait with all you've got. Wait when dreary yellow rains tell you you should not. Wait when snow is falling fast. Wait when summer's hot. Wait when yesterdays are past. Others are forgot. Wait when that far-off place letters don't arrive. Wait when those with whom you wait doubt if I'm alive. Wait for me and I'll come back. Wait in patience, yet when they tell you off by heart that you should forget. Even when you, my dearest ones, say that I am lost, even when my friends give up, sit and count the cost. Drink a glass of bitter wine to the fallen friend. Wait, and do not drink with them. Wait until the end. Wait for me and I'll come back, dodging every fate. With a bit of luck, they'll say, those that would not wait, they will never understand how amidst the strife, by your waiting for me, dear, you had saved my life. Only you and I will know how you got me through. Simply, you know how to wait. No one else but you. Thank you for listening to this poem, and now we'll get to the segment in regards to Peter Gallo. Welcome this evening to the Gus Sunnison Show. I'm Richard Urban. I'm going to be the guest host for Gus because Gus doesn't feel too well, and he's not going to be on the show for a week or two, or maybe even more. So I'll be filling in for Gus. We all know and wish Gus will have a speedy recovery. He's got a little problem health-wise. Our hearts go out to him and to his family. Gus has been on this program for years. I'm sure you'll miss him. I'm sure you enjoyed his program. We always depended on Gus each and every week to give us the news of the city, the issues of the city, and to bring on some real interesting guests. However, it will be a temporary absence, hopefully. That Gus won't be here, and in the meanwhile, I will host his show. It'll still be the Gus Sunnison Show until I receive further notice from Gus or from the studio. Now, before I get into the guest that I have this evening, I want to bring to your attention a few important news articles that I've picked up during the week, which I think are very interesting. Some of these, of course, are very important to veterans out there who have concerns about various issues. And one of the articles I have is from the VA magazine. This is from the VFW magazine, and this is about the GI Bill rates. They've been hiked. So veterans out there who are in school, who are participating in the veterans program called the GI Bill, the monthly rates for the Montgomery Bill, participants, the National Guard veterans who attend school full-time can receive up to $317 a month, and the full-time monthly rate for active duty veterans is $1,101 per month. This is the new rates have gone into effect on October 1st, 2007. So for a full list of rates, you can go online and you can check in regards to your own personal situation. So once again, the GI Bill monthly payments have gone up. I think that's a pretty nice thing in regards to veterans who want to go to school, continue their education, further education. Very important to be reminded of these things occasionally. And also the VA home loan. Veterans out there who would like to purchase a home through the VA or have the VA participate as a guarantor. It's been announced that in August the limit has been eliminated on the VA home loans. So veterans using the VA home loan guarantee program can obtain what they call a jumbo loan. And these can be on homes worth more than $417,000. That's a pretty big piece of real estate, $417,000 even in today's market. So this is another, and this has been endorsed by the VFW Commander-in-Chief George Lazicki. Said he is pleased with the announcement. So two good items here. You get the GI Bill, the rates have gone up monthly, and the VA home loan. You're eligible for a greater mortgage on those loans. One bill that didn't pass, and this is kind of discouraging. This is in regards to servicemen coming home on leave, and the issue has been for some time the rotation of the service people going to, especially Iraq and Afghanistan, having 2 tours, even 3 tours, not being able to stay home with their families for any substantial amount of time. This has been a sad episode in the outcome of this war and the deployment of our forces. And hopefully it will be rectified soon. A Senate bill that would have given the U.S. troops more time at home after deployment to Iraq and Afghanistan failed in the close vote in September. We had 2 Vietnam veterans, Senator Chuck Hagel, a Republican from Nebraska, and Senator Jim Webb, a Democrat from Virginia, sponsored the measure, but it failed. It failed in the Senate on a vote of 56 to 44. It needed 60 votes for approval, and it would have required that the troops be granted leave equal to the amount of time they were most recently deployed before being sent back to the war zone. But it failed in the Senate. I think it's discouraging. I think veterans out there should contact their senators, ask why bills like this don't pass. Once again, it affects families that are here at home. It affects the veterans. These additional or these consecutive deployments to a war zone. So that failed. And Chuck Hagel, the senator, he predicted that actually similar proposals would meet the same fate in this current Congress. So something should be done about that. That's not good. Another item I have here is the fact that a lot of veterans are not insured. This is amazing in a way to read an article like this. This is out of the Herald News, and it says that about 1 of every 8 veterans under the age of 65 is uninsured. And it also states that this is a finding that contradicts the assumption many have that all vets qualify for free health to the Department of Veterans Affairs. Apparently, that belief that all veterans are covered is not quite correct. And that seems to be a disturbing fact. Men and women who have served in the armed forces, not able to get some kind of insurance. I don't know. I mean, this is another item that we should, as veterans, be concerned about when we talk to our congressmen or our senators as to why all veterans don't have some sort of health insurance. And this was researchers at Harvard Medical School projected that about 1.8 million veterans overall lack health insurance. And they said that this is an increase of 290,000 since 2000. So the situation is not getting better. It's not as though, well, we could say, more veterans are covered with health insurance, even though not all of them are covered. But the fact of this research is found that the number of veterans not covered is increasing. And they also said that most uninsured veterans are in the middle class and are ineligible for VA care because of their incomes. But then others cannot afford their co-payments or lack VA facilities in their community. Well, I mean, you might not have a VA facility next door to where you live, but I don't understand why there's no transportation provided to veterans that need to go to the hospital, and why co-pays are a hindrance to medical care. This is another thing that doesn't add up in this day and age with the war going on, many people serving. And the emphasis on health care, even here in the state of Massachusetts, it seems to be a law nowadays that everyone has to have health care. Well, that's fine. We all need to have health care. We all deserve to have health care. But veterans deserve to have health care because of their service to the country. And to have a veteran out there who doesn't have any health care or can't afford his copay doesn't make much sense to me at all. The other thing that I'd like to bring to your attention before I go on to my guest, who is sitting here patiently, is that we've heard a lot about the so-called surge in Iraq, the additional troops being sent there, violence being less than it was months ago or last year or the year before. Well, this is an article I got out of the Herald News, and this is dated Monday, September 5th, and at the bottom, below the fold, it has big headlines. It says that 2007 is becoming the deadliest year of the war. 2007. So even though we've got additional troops in Iraq, and supposedly ethnic violence has been quelled, this year, based on the number of soldiers killed over there, is probably going to be the deadliest. And it says that already 847 Americans have died in Iraq this year. It's the second highest annual toll since the war began in March 2003. But of course, we haven't finished the year yet. So that's what the projection is on, the fact that the year isn't finished, and already there's 847 American service people who have been killed in Iraq. The bloodiest year so far has been in 2004, and 850 American troops died in 2004. Most were killed in skirmishes or larger scale battles versus the deaths of a lot of the troops nowadays based on these improvised explosive devices, the devices that, the bombs, they're the bombs, that's what they are, they're bombs. They're set alongside the road. When a convoy goes by, they are detonated, usually by remote control. They're very powerful, and they cause a lot of casualties and a lot of deaths. And sometimes we overlook the casualties. Casualties are upwards of 25,000 or more soldiers coming back with severe, severe wounds, burns, and this is another aspect of what's taking place. And they need to be cared for, and once they're released, they need to have health insurance. This is an important aspect of life in America today, health insurance. And to have veterans without health insurance doesn't add up. Congress is not doing what they should be doing insofar as caring for the veteran of this country. And the military personnel now serving in Iraq has reached 165,000. So the troops are not really being withdrawn. Troops have been added to Iraq. And based on this article, which has come out of the Associated Press, there is now 165,000 American troops in Iraq. I wanted to bring that information to your attention. I have a few other articles here, but before I get to those, I want to go to my guest. I want to introduce my guest. I have a guest here who's been in World War II. He's been on my show before, my show Veterans Issues and News. He is a local resident. He lives in Westport. he served in World War II, and he served in Italy, and he served during the Battle of Anzio. Now, a lot of people out there may say, well, Anzio, what was that all about? Well, that was a battle, a very, very bloody battle that took place in Italy. It was a battle whereby American troops landed an amphibious force to cut off German troops in the south of Italy. It was a battle that at some time during the battle, it was questionable whether a bridgehead or a foothold would be maintained on the Italian coast. The Germans sent down reinforcements. They sent many divisions, and they sent a lot of artillery, and they sent the big gun, Big Bertha. And these things were pounding our troops that were there on the beaches. And I have a person here today, World War II veteran, who served in Italy and served during that time and was engaged in the Battle of Anzio. And I want to welcome my guest, Peter Gallo. Peter, welcome to the program.
I want to thank you again, you and the wonderful TV staff here. And I think it's an honor for the men that died and all those that were wounded, that we still think of them.
Well, Peter, you know, Anzio, that was quite a battle. You were there, you were in the thick of it. Sometimes we don't always remember Anzio. We remember Normandy, D-Day, Casino, but
Catherine Pass.
Catherine Pass and
Hill 609.
Yeah.
Tunisia.
But tell us about how did you get to join the United States Army?
Well, my father came over from Italy. He joined the Army, and he was shipped over to the northeastern France to Belleau Woods and Verdun. He was gassed, and he suffered so much.
And that's World War I.
Yes. He used to drape himself over a chair, and I never forget how he was suffering so much. But he died before the war broke out. But it was an awful war. There's over 500 and some million people died.
Now, how did you start off? Did you want to follow his footsteps, so to speak?
Was that
join the Army?
Yeah, my whole family Army, all of us, 4 boys. My father, only one's living. So he lives in Georgia. He was a paratrooper, but he wasn't in war because he was young. He was only young when the war broke out. But it runs in the family, I guess.
Well, where did you join up? Were you living in this area?
I was living in South Swansea, and I went to Boston Army Base. That's where I joined up, and they sent me to Fort Devens, 3 days for our shots and clothes and all. And I remember going through the line when one wise guy says to me, "What size coffin you want?" I said, I'm not going to be needing any. Wow. And I didn't, but I came close to being entombed. No, I was under over 300 bombing raids, on ship 10 times.
So you went to Fort Devens?
Yes, and Fort Eustis, Virginia.
Okay, now you went there for?
Yeah, it was hot. I joined the end of May.
Basic training?
Yes, May and June and part of July.
So how long?
June and July.
How long did you spend in basic training?
2 months.
2 months.
Then they shipped me to Camp Kilmer, New Jersey.
Where did you,
7 weeks.
Now, down in Virginia, what were you trained as?
I was trained for 90mm guns.
90mm?
Yes, they fire shells of 41 pounds. And
that's what you trained for in Virginia?
Yes.
Now, those are big artillery shells.
Oh, yes, they can fire 6 miles.
Wow, that's a distance. So then you went to what camp?
I went from there to Fort Dix, then was shipped overseas. I was there for 6 weeks, then we shipped. They would wake us up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, say, march order to leave. They did that about 2 or 3 times, and then one day they woke us up. This time we went to Staten Island. I saw these huge ships. This ship was a big one. It was the County Savoia. It was an Italian line they captured in Panama, and they changed the name to the Hermitage after one of the presidents. But I remember zigzagging across the ocean for 16 days, not knowing where we were going. We landed in Casablanca 16 days later. But while we were on, we only had 2 meals a day on ship because there were so many men on the ship. You only had allowed 2 meals. But as we were waiting to eat again, we had to line up along the deck so all the ship with our rifle pointed towards the air in case the German planes came down.
Well, so they were loaded?
Yes.
You had them all loaded?
Yes.
Now, so you left Staten Island,
Yes.
and you were heading for?
Not knowing where we were going, but they announced that we're the coast of continental of Africa.
Okay, and once you got there, where in Africa did you?
I landed in Casablanca.
Casablanca.
Yeah.
So you disembarked in Casablanca.
Yes. And then from there, I was there 5 months. Then we went to Algiers. But we stopped at Blida. That was about 30 miles south of Algiers, and it was raining awful. The whole tent was collapsed, raining so hard.
How was the weather? Was it warm or was
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. And in Algiers and Sicily, Naples, and all, they had these barrage balloons. They're about 50 feet long, I believe. They had cables dropping down. So when the German planes would attack the port, the cables would hit their propellers and knock the planes down. That was their pilot's greatest fear.
Now, where were these? Let's get there. How did you get involved with the barrage balloons?
That was a secret they had where the planes would dive into it. Because you used to try and dive down the ports, and they're not.
What I'm getting at is once you got to Casablanca, then you moved up into, you said Algiers?
Yes.
What were you doing in Algiers?
Guarding the ports, because they used to come in bombing the ports with supplies.
Okay, and this is where the barrage balloons come in?
And Palermo, Sicily, same thing, used to try and knock the ships out, the PT boats, because they used to go out and raise havoc with the German and Italian ships. We almost 10,000 ships went down, you know.
In the Mediterranean?
10,000 ships. There's a lot of pollution underneath there we don't know about.
In the Mediterranean?
And yeah, oh yeah, a lot. And the South Atlantic too.
Yeah. So
Even off the coast of United States, they sunk a lot of ships. They would be waiting for them off the coast of North Carolina, the, what do they call it?
submarines
Where the rocky shores,
off the banks?
yeah, and they would sink them. They would
Now-
sink them.
What were you doing in Algiers, Peter?
We were guarding the ports. Yeah.
And anything interesting happened?
No, but when I was in Sicily, something happened. One morning I woke up and there was loads of ships.
How did you get now? You left Algiers.
Yeah, by ship to go to Palermo, Sicily.
Now this was after Sicily was taken over.
No, we went in right after they took over Gala. That was a big battle there, awful battle. Lost a lot of planes and men. United States lost over 59,296 planes.
All right, but once you got to Palermo, what were you doing in Palermo?
Guard the ports again.
All right.
The only time when we got to Italy, we went to the casino front where mud bogged down and mud up to our knees, awful. We couldn't sleep because we couldn't lay down. There's mud. We had to tie myself up against a truck and sleep that way so I wouldn't fall over. Because the guys, the click up in that truck. But I had to stand up so I wouldn't fall over. But I'd have my trench coat on, my overcoat. I would tie burlap bags around my feet, try and keep them warm.
So once you got to Sicily, to Palermo, then you crossed over to Italy.
Yes.
But
From
how did you
Palermo, we went by LST
to where?
to Naples.
So you went into Naples.
Yeah, because it was a wreck. They demolished that harbor. They blew up ships, so we couldn't get in there.